Hi, Sean and Allison here from Spoken Garden, and we're here to help you become a better gardener.
Yeah, and today we are transitioning our summer planters on our deck over to fall planters with fall flowering plants, and we're going to actually dig through and see a couple years worth of bulb growth, and we need to divide those out and then use those around other parts of our garden.
Yeah, we didn't have much luck with those containers this year, and we were trying to figure out why, and then we were like, oh, they're full of bulbs.
Yeah, not a lot of root growth able to happen in there.
There's like no room.
Yeah, so.
And I'm excited to add fall plants. We need to spruce it up a little bit
some
out
fall
here.
color always helps. Yep.
But right, before we get to that, we're super excited. We're celebrating this week because it has officially been 5 months since our book came out back in April.
Yep.
The First Time Gardener Growing Plants and Flowers.
Yep, it's on Amazon, available on Amazon. Link will be down below.
But we're giving away 2 copies starting today on this video, and this will run until Sunday at 11:59 p.m.
Yep. So look down below for the timestamp. We're going to give you more details on the contest later on at the end of this video.
Woo.
So without further ado, let's get to the planters.
Okay, so here are some of the containers on our deck. We actually had a lot more, but we pulled them out of the way to make this a little easier to see.
They're all out there.
These are the ones that we want to focus on, and not so much this one. We just have it all set up, and we just didn't end up moving that one, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But it's these 3. This one, this tall container here, this white one, and then this little guy.
Yep, now there's plants in here we want to keep. We want to hold some of these plants over the winter and into this next spring because we want to keep them in our garden. But others we're just going to throw out, and mainly we're going to throw out a lot of the annual species.
We'll compost them and just call it a season for some of these.
Yep.
But basically what you see here is not so much this planter again, but mainly these 2 planters. Can you see how sparse the planters are? The plants we've had these planted since, gosh, probably May.
May or
this
June.
year, and they just never grew.
Yep, and some of the plants have already withered and died, but some of them a lot of them didn't really do very much. And you know, we're thinking, what's going on the top? What's going on the top? Well, we came to find out it's not really what was happening on the top. They're getting enough water. They did get enough water. We gave them all the sun that they could want, and we did end up fertilizing them, so they pretty much had everything they needed on the top portion. But then we thought, well, what's going on down below? Because there's always the top portion of the plant and the below portion of the plant below the soil. Well, we remembered there's a ton of bulbs in all 3 of these planters.
Like packed, probably, full of daffs and alliums and grape hyacinth and
this is the second year those bulbs were left alone and left in these planters. And so that's 2 years of growth and multiplication of those bulbs in these planters. So going off that, we're going to dig down and see what's really going on. We haven't done that yet.
I know.
But the premise is that there's so much bulb growth down below that there's literally barely anywhere for the plants on top and their roots to actually grow down into and stay healthy to support the top portion.
I know, I'm so excited to dig in and just see what's going on down there. And our plan is to thin these bulbs out once we get down in there and actually plant them, maybe separate them out, transplant them out into a different part of our garden so we can just kind of spread them around.
Yep, and we're not going to take all the bulbs out of these because we want to keep some of the bulbs in there. So what we're going to do is find what we find. We're going to thin them out about half as best we can, set 1/2 to the side, replant the ones that are there, and we're going to replant those and reposition them so they're well spaced and whatnot, and then we're going to plant on top of them with these fall flowering plants that we have yet to show you.
So we should have mentioned that this is going to be a part 1 of a 2-part kind of fall cleanup kind of series of these planters. We actually have 6 of these planters. They're just not all on camera. So we're going to show you these 3, and then we're just going to do the other 3.
We have twins on the other side. You can't see them, they're on the other side of the deck.
But we'll show you all of them when we plant the flowers, because that's exciting. But basically, what are we going to keep? Well, looking at these, we have some perennials in here. There are a few, and there's some that are very close on the cusp of our zone here, and we're in zone 8B.
Wow.
And we have a couple plants in here that have overwintered successfully for multiple years.
And I'm just going to move this out of the way because then there's no confusion.
I know, right? So, here we go.
Whoop. So
we're going to save this geranium right here. We're going to overwinter this. We may end up, this was a cutting, I think, wasn't it?
I think so. I think
this was a cutting.
Yeah, it was a cutting. We're going to place that in another pot with a bunch of other geraniums that we're going to overwinter. So that'll make that easy.
Geraniums. We want to keep them.
Yep.
This is a marigold we might save. It just didn't really get very big. I don't know. We're probably just.
It's an annual.
Probably just.
So we're probably just going to chuck it. It's not withering really yet. It's still looking okay, but we don't want to hold it over and spend the time holding it over,
right.
So it'll be fine.
So there's only a couple things. Right up front here, you see this beautiful dianthus. We'll save that. That's a perennial.
Yep.
And there's a beautiful white, very small dahlia right here in the middle. It's called Dahlietta. Yeah, what was the?
Yeah, Dahlia Blanca.
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 So we're going to save that because it's a dahlia. We have to save that. But everything else in here on the top that you see is an annual, and we're going to go ahead and just compost it and call it a season.
Yep. Now you might be wondering, well, what else is growing in there? Well,
yeah.
Our grape hyacinths have actually started popping up. That's what these guys are right here. And so those are fine. This is perfectly normal for grape hyacinths to do this in normal conditions, under the best growing conditions. So we are going to be moving those around and digging those up, but we're going to gingerly dig them up and set them aside.
Be careful.
To then reposition them as we get in deeper. So that's this planter right here and what we're going to take out and what we're going to keep. Let's move on to this planter over here, and you can see we've got a bunch of different plants.
Yeah,
now, if you're interested, you can see here we've got a coleus plant, the remnants of one.
That coleus.
Now, we took cuttings of this about a week or two ago, and we made a whole video about that, about harvesting and taking stem cuttings of coleus plants. So if you want to check that out, look for a couple weeks before on that video. But we're not going to keep this plant. We're actually not going to keep very many of these plants in here. Here's an old celosia, and we've also got an old petunia, some verbena, another petunia. We've got this marigold, we've got this zinnia. Pretty much all of these so far are annuals in our climate. We don't want to winter these over. It's not going to be worth it. But we do have this daisy plant on the side over here.
I know, I love that little daisy. It's so pretty. It's come back for the last couple years.
I know, you see these little petite flowers. They're just gorgeous, and they're tiny little daisy flowers. We're gonna take this. This is a perennial, so we are going to overwinter this plant. We're not sure exactly where it's going to go yet, but we're going to find a home for it. But what we're going to do is we're going to tear all these other plants out. We're going to nicely dig this daisy plant out, set it to the side, and we'll find a home for it very soon. And then there's just one more planter.
Yeah, this Scarborough daisy right here that's actually not even hardy to our zone, but it has come back year after year. So we're going to transplant this out into the garden. We're not sure where yet, though.
Well, we've got some pots.
We've got a couple ideas. So yeah, we thought we would just temporarily house it in just a pot. Yep. So we're going to move that and just kind of keep it happy. And again, we have a twin over on the other side of the deck that you can't see, so we'll do the same thing.
Yeah, it looks like there might be another plant in the front.
Yeah, we've got a Calibrachoa right here, and we're going to definitely keep that because those seem to overwinter really well in our garden, even though they're only zoned for 9A or 9B even. Yeah. We're 8B. Yep. They come back every year here. So,
so that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So we need to get to work.
Yep, let's get to it. So we're gonna get to it here. I've got our hand trowel here from Corona Tools, super handy. It's narrow, we can get it into tight places. So the first thing we're gonna do here, this is the plan. We're gonna remove everything we wanna keep first, nicely take it out, and then we'll just search and destroy and rip everything else out that we don't. So here we go. We wanna keep this geranium here. I'm gonna dig in nice, best I can. Try and keep as many of those roots as possible. And when we're doing this, you can see some of this, some of the grape hyacinth are in here, and they're gonna come out with it, and that's perfectly okay. We'll thin those out as they come out. There we go. All right, so we're not gonna shake off. We're not gonna shake off that. Oh wow, look at that! Look how many little grape hyacinths are in there. This thing really multiplied. So I'm gonna set these down here because we're gonna put. Well, maybe I'll put these down here because then we'll see what we got here. But I don't want to shake off a lot of the soil on the geranium here because we want to make sure that it keeps that around it. So when we transplant it, it won't be as bad, won't be as hard on it. I do see a grape hyacinth in here. I want to get that out of there. Come on, there we go. Sometimes it's easier not to go up, but to go down with these. So let's see, can I get that? Yep, here we go. So I think we got them all. So we're gonna set that to the side. Looking good there. Here's our grape hyacinth. There's a good representation of, it goes deep, there it grows up in the soil because it's white, there's no pigmentation, and then here's above ground right about here, and it gets that green pigmentation on it.
Hard to see on that white background. Let's pick that up there.
There you go.
There you go. You guys see that?
So let's go after the dahlia.
Yep, save the dahlia.
Save the dahlias.
Oh my goodness, there's a lot of bulbs in there.
Yep. Now dahlias grow in funky certain ways, so what I'm trying to do is just get underneath here and get as much of that root mass as I can. Because sometimes they're a little bit more round and sometimes they're a lot more oblong, and you don't want to, one thing we don't want to do is cut that mass away accidentally. So here's part of it right here. There's part of it. I'm going to turn her around. There's also part of it right there. There's probably more in here, but I don't want to disturb that. So I'm going to set that down there. Okay. And oh, the dianthus. While I'm here, oop, I got ripped off. That's too bad. Okay. So let's go after this dianthus. Get this bad boy out of here. So let's go on this side over here. There we go. Just nicely pull that up. There we go.
All right.
Nice. Oh, that's going to transplant really well. Look at all that root mass
color.
Okay. So now everything else comes out, so I can just pull these out. Now when I pull this out, you can see some of that grape hyacinth came with it. So there's that. I'm gonna lay that back down. Where's our bucket? Oh, let's get that soil off of there. There we go. So here we go. We're getting all these plants out of here. There goes the alyssum. There goes these asters. Those were fun this year.
So pretty.
They
just didn't have a chance to grow or room.
Oh. So, okay, so that's pretty much that.
Okay.
So
what's
now,
that tag right there? Can we grab that?
Oh, sure. Good eye. Okay, this tag is for the zonal geranium.
Oh, maybe that wasn't a cutting. Okay. Well.
Oh, yep.
Can't
Okay,
remember.
so I know there's so many
They're
plants.
everywhere.
So I'm gonna start taking these out of here. Let's see. Oh yeah, mass. Look at that.
Gosh.
So now this is gonna happen, but we can take some of this mass, throw that out, because we don't need all those roots. So, but look at all of this. So, ooh yeah, look at that. Neat. Grape hyacinth. Oh yeah. Oh well, there you go.
Some other bigger bulbs in there. There we go.
There's a. So let's see. That's that. There we go. But look at that. Whoa. There we go. So there's all those guys. Wow. Neat. Love seeing this. We should be bulb farmers.
Yeah, maybe we will.
We already have people asking us to buy bulbs online.
I know we do.
So guys, it started raining on us, so we had to move the whole operation underneath the umbrella. But we wanted to show you this because that's why we're doing this today. We're going to show you how to divide the bulbs once you dig them up. These are grape hyacinth that we have here, and you can see they're in a cluster, and they're all growing really close together, as they do when they multiply. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tease this soil off as best I can, and then I'm going to show you how to divide these here. So you see we've got the biggest one here. This was probably planted 2 years ago, and then we've got the smaller ones that have grown off of this one as it's multiplied and kept producing itself, reproducing itself. So what you want to do is we're going to break these apart very nicely, and you can see they're separate bulbs. So they're connected mainly by roots, but they're also connected a little bit to each other down below. But what we're going to do is just nicely start. You hear those pops? Now you can see I did that. They were connected right there to there. And so we just broke that connection perfectly fine. These are separate bulbs because you can see they're literally separate from this as a structure. Now we're just going to break these apart a little bit more, tease that apart, just kind of nicely do that. You don't want to rip them because you don't want to have unneeded damage to these. You want to do it very slowly. And see, there we go. And there's more grape hyacinth there. So see, we just nicely pull these apart. These are going to do great. We can take these now and we can place these in other places, in pots or other areas of our garden, and these will do perfectly fine. They've got a good root system. They're going to go on the ground. They're going to be just beautiful. So, yep, here's some daffs. Again, it's a 3-fer or a 2-fer because we planted the one in the center is the one we planted. These are the ones that came off of it, that grew off of it. So we can peel these two off. This one should come back next year, same with these. Now, you're probably wondering, well, wait a minute, what are all these roots doing on here? And why don't I see that when I buy my bulbs and they don't have those roots on them? Why don't they have the roots on them? And the reason is the bulbs you're buying are dormant. They've been processed. They're not gonna have the roots on them because they're not actively growing. So they're dormant, right? So these bulbs, they're actively still growing. They've been growing. The roots are developed. They're out in the soil. This is why you're seeing that. These have been actively growing. The other ones are dormant. They've been processed. They've been shipped. These have not. So that's why you're seeing the roots here and not the roots on the ones you buy. So putting that out there. So there's those there. I think we might have one more grouping over here. Let's get down here. So I'm trying to do this, guys, so we don't have to move all the soil out and do all that. We can just, yep, there they are. Yep. There we go. There we go. I think that's most of them. Yep, not feeling any others in there. Okay, cool. So here we go. Should find just about the same or similar. Yep, there's a threefer. So we must have planted 1, 2, and 3, and so now we've got 9. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. So again, here's some daffs. Those are beautiful. I'm gonna set those down. Now,
where are the alliums?
The alliums we planted, I think they're 8 or 9 inches down. So we might have to move some of this soil. Okay. So here's our first batch, our first grouping of alliums. It's gotta kind of get on the side there, and then just get underneath. See what's what. Yep. So let's try and tease some of that soil off of there. See what we got here. Okay. So wow, there we go. So there's some little ones there. I'm gonna set that, well, maybe I'll set over there, yeah. And then we've got another small one here. If you're finding baby alliums in here, it's going to take them a few years to flower, but they will flower. So now we're going to divide these. This is how you divide it, just nicely, just kind of split them apart, get those roots apart. Okay, so there's one. There's an allium right there. So I'm going to set that down there. Here is another one. Maybe, yeah. So yeah, there's one right there. There's the bottom where the roots are, and then the top should be like right here, I think. So it's grown a little lopsided because of how it was all together. So, and then we've got, there's another one right there. And just all these roots. There we go. Take your time when you're doing this, folks. If you want to really keep them, want to save them, take your time and just do the best you can there. Here we go. Yep, so 1, 2, 3 large ones, and then multiple small ones. And so yeah, and that was just one. We got probably 2 or 3 more spots we need to get to. So I'm going to set these down over here. There's our alliums. So here's all those little bad boys. Okay. Oh, there we go. There you go. There's our cluster right in there. Ooh, it's a big one. Anything around? Nope. So we'll do that. There we go, you see. Nice. Yep, another big cluster. There might be another one right over here because the first one came from here. I can't remember if this was, we planted 2 or 3 in here. So, yep, there we go. I think, yep, there's a small little guy right there. Looks like these these were like, I think we did 1, 2, and 3, and this is the whole bulb, and now we're just teasing it apart this way, and it literally split itself as it sat in one position into at least 2, 3 there. This has no other breaking point on it that I can see, so this is still one big one. Then we got a little one here, another one on it, and then that there. So that's good. Set those down there. Yeah, with all these bulbs in here, it's hard to think that there was any room at all for any of these other plants on top to grow. So yeah, I think you're right. Yep, just the two. So that was a twofer. So we got a lot more of those bulbs after about 2 years worth of growth. That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see what our loot was from one container. So those are all the grape hyacinth. This whole pile, there's like tons of them in here. We'll have to kind of spread those out as best we can. And then these are the daffs. And then we've got the alliums right here. And then we were able to save a geranium, the dahlia, and then the dianthus. So that's cool. Good job.
Yeah, good job, honey. Okay, so now that we've done that, we need to replace and plant back in the alliums because they go down the deepest. If I remember right, it's at least 8 inches in the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, for depth measurement, we're going to use our Corona hand trowel here, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 inches here. So I'm going to go down, and I'm going to basically say, if we go 2 inches from the top of the rim here, that puts us down here. But usually you want to have the soil up to about here because you don't want to show most of the time this color here. You want to show this color so it just looks more complete and done, more professional. So we're going to actually go and start from 4 inches down our measurement. So there's about 4 inches. We're going to go down again another 4 inches, and at this level right here, this is how deep our bulbs are going to go. So now that we've got our depth right for these alliums, now we want to figure out, okay, how do we want to group them together? And last year, well, actually the last 2 years, we had one on each side of the pot. We were trying it out. We were going by the spacing of what it said on the package. Worked out okay. They came up there beautiful, looked a little sparse. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to plant them all grouped closer together in one area. So when they come up, they're going to look fuller. They're going to look just even more amazing than they did the last couple of years. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down that depth, and we're going to place 3 of them in a mini triangle on this side of the pot, and then this coming spring, gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab our 3 largest ones, and we'll figure out homes for the rest of them later. So I got 3 large ones. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of place them. What I'm going to actually do is put these to the side. We've got our depth. I'm going to dig this all the way out so we can just get our placement and set just right. So now I'm going to do this, do this, do this. So this is going to be our placement right here. So 1, 2, 3. And so they'll come up, they'll look beautiful. It's not what the spacing calls for on any of the packaging. I think they're supposed to be maybe 6 inches to maybe 8 or more inches apart, but that's for optimal spacing for the plant's best health. What we're looking for is not only its best health, but also a great presentation in the pot. This is going to accomplish that. So just going to put the soil back on top, tamp it down a little bit, and there's our planting of our alliums back in. Next up is our daffs. And so we haven't broken these apart yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to nicely do that just like I did the alliums. I'm going to tease that apart a little bit. So there's one, just set them down. And then there you go. Now this one doesn't have any roots on it yet, but that's okay.
Yeah, let's do 5 daffs.
Okay, sounds
like
good.
3 alliums, 5 daffodils. And if I remember, these are kind of a blend of different bulbs that we got at Eden Brothers a couple years ago. And they're just this large trumpet cup mix.
Ooh.
And they're huge and beautiful. They're yellow and white. It's like a mix.
Who doesn't like big and beautiful?
So we don't know which ones these are.
So guys, we've picked out the 5 largest of the daffodils we want to put back in and plant back into this planter. And so we're going to plant them as best we can. Not in a grouping. We're going to place them strategically just around sorry. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's about right, 6 inches.
Okay.
So we got our spacing, we like the configuration, and our depth is just right. We're just gonna nicely push these down so they stay put. Again, roots down, pointy tips up. And then we're gonna take some of this soil and just place it over the top nicely so we don't dislodge them. And as we put it down over the top, we'll just nicely pat it down so now they're nice and stationary in there. That's nice. Okay, good. Okay, now we're leveling up, because next up is Grape Hyacinth. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to strategically place our Grape Hyacinth in pockets here, and that is in anticipation of us planting the fall annuals, the fall flowering plants on top here. We're not exactly sure yet how that's going to go. We don't have a specific plan yet, so it might change, and we might have to move those Grape Hyacinth that we're planting today, but that's not that big of a deal. They'll be able to take that moving around in part 2 of the video to get those other plants placed in this pot. So here we go. So, and we want to make sure we are down at least 4 inches. I think it's 4 to 6 inches possibly for the Grape Hyacinth. And so we're pretty good right here. It's a little bit above 4 inches right now on this this level of the soil. I'm going to push the Grape Hyacinth in, so they will be at that 4 inches. So we've decided what we're going to do is we're actually going to ring this pot with these. So we're just going to kind of take these apart a little bit. We're still going to be in some clusters, and we're just going to take these and put them right up against the side of the pot. So guys, before and afters, this is the after, and look how clear these 3 pots are already. We need to kind of clean them up a little bit and get them looking a little bit sharper, but for now, we accomplished our goal of getting them cleaned out, replanted, and we basically did it lasagna style for these 3 planters for all the bulbs. The Alliums went in the deepest, about 8 or so inches, then the Daffodils went in about 6 inches, 5 to 6 inches down, and then the Grape Hyacinth 2 to 4 inches. And yeah, they were just layered up. We got the Grape Hyacinths around the edge here, and so I don't think we found any Grape Hyacinth in this this container.
And also, you guys, here's what's left over. We have a little pile of Alliums still to kind of plant out in the garden, and we're not sure where we're going to put those yet, so we're going to keep those there for now. We've got some more Daffodils left over. So we've got all the biggest ones planted. Some of these may not bloom next year, but they might. And then a whole pile of Grape Hyacinth.
Yeah, they really like it here in our climate and how we grow them. So we've got quite a few to plant out somewhere else. So we'll do it here in the next couple days. So now part 2 will be us planting the fall blooming perennials and annuals inside here, and it's gonna look beautiful, but that's part 2, so stay tuned for that next video.
So you guys, that's a wrap for thinning and dividing our bulbs, cleaning out our containers like Sean just said, and we're really excited to add all the new plants we have, and we can't wait to show you what we have.
Can't wait to show you guys.
So that's coming up next, you guys, so stay tuned.
Now is the exciting part. We are doing a book giveaway. We're giving away 2 of our books.
2 books.
And that's happening starting today, and that's gonna run all the way to this coming Sunday.
Yes.
Yes, so what you need to do is follow specific rules, and they are
1, subscribe to our channel if you're not already, and 2, comment down below on this video and let us know why you want this book, or let us know how it will help you in your garden.
Yep, and we can't wait to see you all comment and enter this contest. We can't wait to give these 2 books away.
And thank you to Cool Springs Press, a division of Cordo Homes, our publisher, for helping us with this giveaway.
Yep, and so guys, we're only able to ship to the continental United States, and no PO boxes. So if your mailing address is a PO box, we can't mail these to you. So just want you to know that.
And we also have a concurrent giveaway going on over on Instagram to double your chances to win. So follow the rules over there on our Instagram page.
Yeah, and if you have any comments or questions about what we did here today or how we did it, go ahead and leave those down below. We love hearing from you. And make sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, so you get updates on our latest videos.
Yeah, and we hope you join the contest. Good luck.
Yep, good luck.
Thank you for being here and for watching, and we hope that was really helpful.
Yep.
And stay tuned for part 2.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Bye everybody.
See you later.